And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Parasite has 6 Academy Award nominations and is the first film not in the English language to win Best Picture.
The Oscar for Best Picture is perhaps the most prestigious award any film can receive. It is the MVP of the Academy Awards. It demonstrates the overall excellence of the film and recognizes the entire project as being collectively amazing. And in 2020, Parasite, a South Korean film, won the Academy Award for Best Picture, making it the first foreign film in the history of the Oscars to achieve this feat. And though it is great that it seems the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Science is starting to recognize great filmmaking in diverse and different parts of the industry, there is still one style of filmmaking that continues to go vastly underappreciated. The style I am referring to, of course, as you all know, is animation. Animation is a medium that offers an unlimited amount of imagination and creativity. From the visual front to the suspension of disbelief, there is no other art form that can tell stories in such a unique way. It has such a mass appeal and generally has the ability to do something that many live action films can't, and that is speak to and teach children, but that very same skill is simultaneously the very same thing that is used against it. One of the biggest stigmas in all of film, in my opinion, is that animation is too childish to be taken seriously, and this is honestly one of the most annoying things ever. And it seems that no matter how good a movie is, there are those who will say, well, it's still just a kids movie. And though yes, most mainstream animation is intended for younger audiences, but that doesn't mean it is any less of a meaningful film, and it definitely doesn't mean that because it is animated it is not an impressive feat of filmmaking. But for some reason, I feel the good old boys of the Academy would disagree with me on that one, and that is because overall, animation is not truly respected. It is not really viewed as true cinematic art amongst most. Of course, there are many who understand its power and how transcendent of an art it is, but many, like I said, still sum it up to be just kid stuff. Now don't get me wrong, it's had its moments and has not gone completely unnoticed. So far, 3 films being Beauty and the Beast, Up, and Toy Story 3 have all been nominated for Best Picture, but none have yet to grab that illustrious trophy of essentially Film of the Year, which obviously led me to the question, will an animated film ever win such an award? Will its collective contributions to the script, sound design, cinematography, and other intangibles ever be enough to elevate it to the top? Well, I'm going to come back to that question, but first, I wanted to consider something. I want to revisit the claim I made about animation not being a respected art form. If you don't believe me, just listen to this. In 2001, the Academy decided to give animated films their own category at the Oscars, and okay, that works I guess. And although they don't always get it right with the winners, they for the most part make sure to include all the best films that came out that year. But not in 2014, because for some reason the Academy decided not to nominate one of the best animated films of the entire decade in the Lego Movie. And I can only imagine it is because the very concept of the Lego Movie itself was just too silly for them, and all of their great knowledge and power, they just couldn't let this film about Legos be at the very least a nomination. But think about this for a second. Legos are relatively stiff figurines. To be able to accurately translate these movements physically on the screen while also avoiding making it seem so bland and lifeless, to me is very impressive. Through incredible voice talent and brilliant animation, this world was so immersive, and it truly shows the creative and imaginative possibilities of animation. Now don't get me wrong, its contributions from a visual aspect did not go completely unrecognized, and the movie even received various awards and nominations from other organizations outside of the Oscars. And as much as I assume they appreciate the recognition from those others, it must have been a punch in the face to not be recognized on the highest stage. All the hard work put in from every cast and crew member day in and day out to bring to life this absurd idea and turn it into a decade-defining film, just to not even be included in its own category. And in general, that's what I think the thing is in the bigger picture: absurd ideas. I've said it before and I'll say it again, with a medium like this, you have to utilize the creative possibilities as much as possible. If there is a great story to tell that is rich in theme, symbolism, allegory, or whatever the case may be, let it be told no matter how absurd of a premise it may follow. Getting so caught up in the fact that a rat is a chef or that all your main characters are Legos and allowing that to dictate your perspective of the film will blind you to seeing some truly great and impactful themes and messages. I know there can be a lot of stuff out there that isn't great, and even some really terrible stuff, but it doesn't reflect the entire art at all. Great films, whether animated or not, should be equally regarded and respected. It is an entire team effort to create a truly special film, and everyone involved deserves credit. In an interview about animation, producer Thomas Schumacher says this:
Animation and theater are in many ways arts of the invisible. That the greatest contributions people make are so often unrecognized, are in fact unseen. But the power of The Lion King is in that humanity. The irony is, it's a story with no people in it. But its whole power are those people. And they get no credit for it. And I always say, all these people made this.
Obviously he was talking about The Lion King, but that really could apply to animation in general. All three films nominated for Best Picture I'd say were worthy nominations, but there have definitely been much better films that could have just as easily been nominated. Nevertheless, the big question still remains, will an animated film ever win the Oscar for Best Picture? Well, despite everything I just said and complained about, it is bound to happen one day. It'll be a long time coming, and it'll take a very special film to do so, but history has to be made at some point, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I had a really fun time putting it together, and as a matter of fact, as I was doing research on this topic, many of the same animation studios are nominated every year, which gave me an idea for a video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.